Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this week's episode of Magnificence. I, as always, am here as your Dungeon Master G, aka Nightmare King, as I call myself and make others call me. You have no choice. I'm so excited to have you back listening in on this next session as we begin to unfold the mysteries of this starting adventure proper, delving into the dark corners of the city and what lies beyond. Real quick before we begin, I just want to, as always, give a big thank you to Sarson Games for writing the sourcebook that we're using throughout this campaign. Please go check out their content. All of it is extremely wonderful, and they wrote a very lovely sourcebook that we are using. Without too much other shenanigans for introductions, why don't I go ahead and begin with a recap so you know where we're at with this next session. Last we left off, we were in the midst of heated battle with the mutant rodents that the siblings later on will call the Firestarter. The Firestarter landing heavy blows. Though rare, they strike true and they strike hard. The party, a mix of deflecting and attacking and assisting others, Sage herself somewhat investigating in the midst of battle for the antidote, all of it's worked out in the end, with the Firestarter subdued, though not before placing a strange effect on Suda, if but for a moment, where she heard something haunting and dark within the cold. With the battle concluded, and the creature slain, the party turns to the young siblings to check in on what happened, where this creature came from, and what they're doing here. With a bit of tense discussion, the younger sibling, Tayra, does assemble the antidotes and hand them out, with our party members finally cured of this strange poison that has afflicted them, and then retrieving their things and descending down the stairs and explaining where they got the Firestarter from. Some strange scholar that has come into town with a caravan of what they described as creatures that they stole from, but when they stole it, it was but a tiny thing, about the size of a cat, and grew rapidly over the course of a week. Alina, recognizing the description of the scholar instantly, knowing him to be Leto of House Talcaster, an ally of House Shroudmore, and a confidant and contact of Alina herself. With an idea of where to go next to investigate the strange happenings here in Seer's Mourning, Suda, I say with hesitation around her name, speaks with the siblings, offering them some gold, assisting them on their way out, and they in return give her a set of keys, telling her that their previous form of transportation is much too conspicuous for them to travel around with. Suda, quote-unquote, Caradwyn, and Alina depart into the night to go check out the wagon, while the other three members of the party go back upstairs to investigate the body. They find the moon-molten Vardo, a beautiful antique wagon that is slightly bigger on the inside, though maybe a bit less impressive than other interdimensional magical spaces. It is still very nice and offers them a comfortable way to travel. With the wagon discovered and now in the party's possession, we go back to our little scientists and, honestly, middle schoolers dissecting a frog. Returning to the upper level of this warehouse, we see Sage, Kuvos, and Olwen crouched before the decaying body of the Firestarter, the strange mutated rodent. You are all sitting before it. It is twitching ever so slightly. Every several long seconds it twitches. You see its eye has rolled back into its head as it has finally embraced death through means of Caradwyn's sword through its head. And you are left here with the body. What are you all doing to investigate this strange creature?
Olwen,
I'm trying. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Olwen.
I was gonna say, as like Sage is looking very uncomfortably at the thing. Olwen
I'm trying so hard not to look uncomfortable, but I am.
Olwen seems a little too happy to be like working with his hands and doing this instead of anything else.
The fact that it's twitching is making me really nervous. I think Sage actually does say that out loud.
No, it's all right. That's just
Can I take the time to ritually cast Detect Magic? Maybe that could have been going on while I was waiting for other folks to come upstairs and trying to figure out what I was doing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course. Easily enough, you find a stray 10 minutes with all of this hullabaloo sort of scattered about. You don't currently detect any magic on this creature. There's no active spells, or it's not casting anything. It's just a gross thing.
I think I do have like a small knife. It's not even a dagger. It's part of my scholar's kit. This is like an X-Acto knife or something. And I'm just
Yeah.
I don't know how. I'm not saying this out loud, but it's like I just don't know. I'm wanting to investigate it to see like, okay, are these crystals naturally growing from this thing, or were they implanted? But I'm also like, I don't know how to skin things. So when Olwen comes up, and I imagine he just sets to work. That seems like Olwen style, right?
Yeah. We'll just do it so whatever Olwen rolls, you're basically just going to give the help action.
Cool. And I would love to do some investigation with my stuff. Am I sorry, are we using our because my modifier did change. Are we going to wait until we long rest to actually have that level up be effective?
Yes, I forgot to mention our party did level up after defeating the Firestarter. That happened off screen because I forgot to say things. We will. I don't really care. We'll honor the level up now. It happens instantly. You guys are better. And it's maybe that's not how it'll be for all future, but it's my game, and I do what I want.
I think Olwen is approaching the dissection from more of like, what kind of creature is this sort of perspective. So I'm hoping to roll either nature or survival based on like what you think is more appropriate.
Yeah, I will say between nature and survival, I'll classify this
and
as
I have
a survival.
advantage from Sage being there. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, all right. That is a 16 total.
16 total. Yeah, absolutely. Observing this creature. You're a hunter. You know the wilds, you know animals. This is, of course, not anything you have ever seen, but you know how to go about skinning a kill. The most obvious things that you notice: the crystal clusters are growing from deep within its flesh. They are not surface level. They're coming from deep within it. Its bones are not of a typical rodent skeleton. It's almost as if it has too many bones. And some of them are connected enough to make it stand and operate its own body. Some of them are just kind of free floating in its flesh bag is the best way to put it. It is just a couple of free floating bones and such. The metal spiked helm is fused to its skull like its bones. In the same way that a turtle has its shell, you can't remove it from its head at this point because it's part of it. It is a mixture of like organic natural mutation, like some of the mutation happened on its own. Some of the strange things about it look like it was inflicted on it. Like it's the metal helm you keep returning to. It looks like someone purposely melted that onto its skull.
And would we know that the kids didn't do that? And it had it before and it grew with it, or would that have been something that we can't assume?
I mean, you can assume not, just because you don't see those sort of supplies, and it didn't seem like they had much experience in that sort of thing. But again, that's just an assumption.
Yeah. The metal grew with it, but it wasn't eating anything.
I'm surprised it even survived if it wasn't being fed, much less grew.
That too. How are you feeling, Kuvos, by the way?
Better. Would it have completely taken effect by this point, G, or...
Yes, for everyone that was poisoned, all effects that you suffered are completely reversed. The antidote did its job. So I think it was just Alina who had, like, the -2 in ability score. That's gone back to normal, so all poisoned effects are gone.
Woohoo! Yes, much better. I think the antidote worked just fine. And he's fully taken off his, like, conclave jacket at this point, and set it on one of those boxes as they're doing this. I'm more concerned about what's going on here, and the fact that Alina knew the person who had this creature in the first place.
Now, I've never met Leto, but would I have been, like, heard his name or something like that? Would that be a possibility?
I'll say, just even without rolling, just because you kind of ran in, not the same circles, but similar enough.
He seems like Magna would know him. It's just, that's the vibe I get.
Kuvos wouldn't have heard because he's very Shroudmore aligned. But Sage, I would say all you know is he is from House Telecaster, which is in Understone House. Which by itself is interesting that he is from Understone and he's on the side of Shroudmore. So he's already kind of outcast.
Yeah, that is very
He's already
interesting.
kind of outcast because of that, but he's also double outcast from his own house. Not entirely, he's still part of it, but they don't quite like him because people see him as a crazy, crazy academic.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he's my people. He's my people. Let's just say it. He's my people. Yeah.
Yeah, he's your people.
It's a little more unhinged, but he's my people.
He's a very eccentric guy is the nice way to put it.
So I might have heard of him for sure. I feel like I forgot where I was going with this. 1 sec.
But yeah, you know of him.
What was it that Kuvos just said?
He pointed out that he was concerned how Alina knew who had the creature before the kids got it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think it's unusual for people with connections to the houses to be aware of each other. The fact that they know each other personally might be a little strange, since the house I know Alina wears the symbol of is from here in Valenson, and would it be Lord Leto? What's the
He's
formal title?
So his title, just Duke Leto.
Duke Leto is
I know I have it written down
of
somewhere.
Understone, Tallcaster.
I mean, I said it back in the square. It doesn't surprise me in the slightest that some noble is involved in all of this.
Oh, I'm not surprised either, but the question is how involved and for what purpose?
Well, if the kids stole this creature from him, well, there's 2 options, right? Either he didn't know and he just grabbed it from under their nose and he's using it for his own purposes, or he let them take it.
I think the simplest answer is probably the case here. This is an eccentric man who collects strange things, and these kids wanted to find something interesting, possibly worth money, possibly worth using. This is very obviously, I'm gesturing at the thing, like as I'm standing 3 full steps back, like at the alchemy station. Something that would have caught their eye. I don't know that he brought it here with ill intent. He's just a freak.
Well, whatever it is, this thing is definitely strange. It looks like a rat, but these bones don't look like any rodent I've ever seen. Some of these aren't even connected to anything.
Kuvos, have you heard of these kind of things showing up in Understone? We don't know that's where he got it, but that's where he's from.
Have I, DM?
Never heard of anything like this.
Well, the kids say they never fed this thing. Let me cut open the stomach to see if there's anything in there.
Oh God, no. Me knowing that's the worst part.
Yeah.
I'm sure Kuvos would have done some science classes at the conclave, so he's fairly used to this.
You dissected some things. It's a little gross.
I know enough to know that's unpleasant.
Yeah.
Kuvos is probably gonna, like, kneel down next to Olwen and kind of watch and just, look at Sage and be like, so... And then look between Sage and Olwen. Olwen, you said that you have contacts that you can spread this to. Are they going to make it themselves, or are we making it? I'm a little confused here.
No, they can make it themselves. It's the crafters division. They have plenty of people that are excellent with alchemist supplies and herbalism kits. I'm sure as soon as we give them the recipe and the materials, they could synthesize enough of the antitoxin for everybody. And also, I trust them to distribute it more than sending this information to the guards or anything like that.
Then we may want to start bottling up blood so that you can send that too.
All right. Olwen, easily enough, you cut into the belly of this thing. And their words ring true. There is nothing within its stomach. It doesn't seem to have eaten. Its insides are rotted, though. So you have to assume, even if it did eat something, it probably didn't. It probably wouldn't have digested or worked. It would have just kind of sat inside of its body. It smells, it's horrible.
Nah, see, look at that. That's empty. This is decomposing bile. It doesn't look like anything was sort of really melting it.
Holding it so close to his face as he observes it. It's like upsetting.
Even Kuvos is like...
Oh.
Kuvos isn't feeling well. Let's not. Kuvos isn't feeling well.
No, he's not.
Huh? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, he was feeling better before, but seeing Olwen just... He's a pale blue already, but, like, it's almost like a blue-white now as he watches Olwen just handle this, like, with no consideration whatsoever.
Yeah, this is horrifying.
Remind me, where was it that I know Magda intended to head towards next? It was up in Aldmere, right?
Yeah, Magda's plan was to head over to Aldmere. They wanted to check out what the fuck was happening with Ashador.
Yes, and I would like to share that, seeing as we have another strange creature. Magda, she's my mentor with the Coven. She was planning on directing us up towards Aldmere because there's been tell of large humanoid undead, possibly creatures emerging from the sea up there. Clearly unnatural, clearly not something that people have seen before. This is something clearly unnatural and clearly something that I have not seen before, and I do wonder if it came from Understone or elsewhere. I'd really like to ask.
And as soon as she says, giant humanoids coming up from the sea, Kuvos' head is going to snap away from Olwen and just look right at Sage and be like, from Ashador.
Would it be from the direction of Ashador?
Yeah, that's where they're mostly coming up from, like, northern. Like, Ashador is kind of to the east of Aldmere, and they're mostly coming up from the north. But it's well known that's where they're coming from. Nobody cares. So it's not talking
in
about.
The area of the Echoing Coast and Kalefall. I'm not sure exactly where they're coming from. That's what we were going to find out. Magda's just as curious as I was.
Is this a thing that Kuvos has heard about, G?
Yeah, the destruction of Ashador and the risen, like, giants that are destroying it, it's not unknown. Like, maybe some people aren't aware of it, but most people in the Empire know about it. It's just that nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares about Ashador is the problem, and nobody's taking steps to solve it or fix it. They're just like, oh no, I guess that's just nature anyways, and they move on with their day. So, I mean, everyone knows what's happening in Ashador. Nobody cares.
Okay, but is the part where they're coming out of Ashador and up onto the surface new?
That is not new to Kuvos, I would say. A little less known than the whole situation, but especially just from where you're from and your background and everything, you're well aware. The Envy warriors, who are the primary group of people fighting off the oncoming horde of giants from the sea, they put out word constantly asking for aid or sending backup or just letting nearby villages know. And again, everyone's just like, oh, you got a handle on it. You'll be fine. So I would say Kuvos knows. Probably no one else in the party but Sage, who learned it from Magda.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I think at that, his, like, snap to Sage would be more of a, like,
You're paying attention?
holy shit, someone else, like, knows about this aside from myself, and is like, huh. Well, no one's really cared about that in a while, but that was actually why I went to school, to figure out what's going on there and possibly stop it. So if someone else is looking into this, then that might be my next course as well, once I...
You'd have to get approval from some magistrate or something, though, right?
Of course I would, but seeing as that's my whole reason for going, I don't see why, as long as I complete my other tasks first, he wouldn't let me take a detour. Speaking of...
Fully, I want to give some insight into what Sage's thinking here is, well, they didn't care about why I was there, so I guess you might have earned that. But they certainly didn't care about why I was there.
Owen has a morbid thought.
Oh dear. Yes, please share.
Looking at the pelt of this thing,
Oh,
could I
God.
turn this into leather?
I feel like it's rotted, and there's a lot of holes from the crystals.
This thing is half rotted with holes. You spoke my mind. This thing is half rotted with holes from crystals and deeply corrupted. I won't stop you if you would like to try. I don't think it's going to happen, though.
Okay, but that being said, I do think taking a sample of the crystal with us is not a bad idea. In fact, I would like to make sure that when we're sending off the ingredients, I want to keep enough antitoxin, just in case. And just some small samples of various
absolutely.
matter.
Easy enough to do. Collect from the alchemy table.
Owen's holding like the rotted pelt and just like saying like fairly out loud, going like, "Nah, well, it's all rotted out. What a shame. It's a unique piece of pelt at the very least. That could have been something."
I'm almost, and Sage has started to like think out loud as she's preparing this like couple doses of antidote before we leave here and hand off the rest of it. I wonder if there's any sort of elemental nature to this with it. I don't know if the metal grew with it, but there's metal and mineral, and can I like, is there any way to tell like does this crystal seem to be like a naturally occurring mineral of some sort, or does it seem to be like some alien rock that I have never encountered or anything like that?
You can give me a nature check.
Okay, I'm not good at that one, but I do. It's still an int check, so.
I have a weird idea.
Nat 20 for 25.
Oh. Okay, yeah, I'll get you in a sec. Olwen?
No, I just had an idea to like maybe help with Sage's check, but no need. Keep going.
Oh, yeah, no, you're fully good. With your nat 20 nature, an incredible roll for you to find out you've never heard of this before. You don't know what it is.
Awesome. This is, I know it's not because I haven't done my research. I had a rock phase when I was 13.
Yeah. You had your face, you know. No, you know with absolute surety, this is not something you've seen before.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it could be just like a regular crystal, but it's like, what are those things called? Those like cool little science like things where it's like you touch the outside of the glass ball and it like
one of those plasma ball
it.
things.
The plasma ball, that's what it is. Yeah. It kind of has that effect almost a tiny bit. It's very faint, but there's like red light on the inside that kind of reacts a little bit.
I take it and I can see where my fingertips make contact. A little bit of that glow from when the thing was alive returns just at the fingertips there.
Well,
it is warm.
Ooh.
It is like hot. Yeah, it's like a warm rock. Like it's been sitting in the sun.
I mean, if it's rocks and crystals growing on a body, I don't know if this is the same thing, but...
It's warm.
Owen's going to, like, put his, like, arm, like, next to, like, the skin ever so slightly, and I'm going to cast Blade Ward from like Merge with Stone, as like Olwen's eyes turn like ruby and crystal like, and like the skin on his body turns almost like rocky and like hardens a little bit. Does it look like similar to that or no? Since I am an Earth Genasi, I'm not a human.
Yeah, that's true. Casting that and kind of summoning that within yourself, it's maybe a little similar, but it's definitely not the same. It's, you know, this crystalline clusters grew from within this creature. You don't know if it was a natural thing or a magical thing or a mutated thing, but it's definitely very different from your like innate racial traits.
Most elemental creatures, if it's not fire, won't be warm. They don't survive on blood like beasts and such do. So I might be going in the wrong direction there.
What I'm saying is that I don't fully, I'll be honest, I don't fully understand my own heritage, but I know that it's somewhat primordial in nature.
Yes.
And it doesn't look or feel the same as this. It looks, I don't think this is natural. It could be, I could be wrong, but I wouldn't guess that it is.
Would you think someone was trying to imitate it?
Well, if you look at some of the things on it, these were inflicted. These weren't things that were naturally of this creature. And like, he like pulls out like the gross, disgusting carcass again and shows it like a little closer.
Again, goes
So gross.
like pale blue white.
Let's wrap up here. I do wonder if this is unnatural. But it's a question of if it's unnatural in the direction of somebody intentionally created it, if it's unnatural in the sense of something is wrong with something happened to it that was perhaps not nature, but perhaps not human. Or humanity, I guess. It's weird when you're in the fantasy world. If it's from somewhere else, that's not the empire. I don't know. I want to find out where Duke Leto found it. I think that is going to be the best hint we have. I'd like to pocket that crystal. I think that is the sample I'm going to take with me.
Yeah, you gotta clean it off a bit because when it gives easily, but it's like it pulls some of the goop and skin, and it's like stringy almost, and it's like it's so gross.
I take
best you can.
I'm running out of pieces of cloth. I've bandaged so many people today. I'm like looking at my inventory. I'm like, I don't want to use the clothes I have in my bag. Yeah, I just like find some rags and wipe it off. And like, can I just wrap it in a rag that like these kids had laying around?
Yeah, what does Olwen give Sage to wrap this up in? What does Olwen give Sage?
Olwen takes the like dirty crystal, points it in like a random direction, and he's going to cast Gus to like blow the pieces off of it.
Oh, I'm an idiot. Sage does not say this out loud. Rosie, am an idiot. I have prestidigitation. What the hell am I even worried about?
And Kubos is just watching, like, as Olwen takes this and is like, why didn't she just
I think that is a funny little character thing I'm going to say for Sage now, is that she takes a second and is like trying to figure out how to clean this off. And then she's like, as Olwen starts casting this cantrip, she goes, oh, wait. I'm better at this than you, and just cast prestidigitation. Like, she's still not fully. She cleaned things in a mundane way for most of her life. It's not her first thought.
But the crystal is cleaned, sanitized, ready for transport. You stick it into your bag. It's like a fist size.
Yeah.
It's one of those like longer crystals. So it's like. Yeah, I can't think of an object to compare it to, but yeah, it's like a longer, kind of like a large fist-sized crystal. The light does slowly die out to nothing as you put it in your bag, as the life leaves the creature. But it's still warm a little bit after the light dies out, but eventually that cools as well. The wagon trio, were you guys just returning to the warehouse when you were finished?
I would think so, because we still need to acquire some beasts of burden of some sort to pull the wagon. So we've investigated, Suda and Alina, please correct me if I'm wrong. I think we've sort of checked it out, established what we have access to, and I think then we would want to reconvene.
How does the pantry look? Like all that kind of basics of just like assessing a new space that is yours. What do you do when you first get into a hotel room, right?
Well, my thought would be that if Alina wanted to stay and Suda stayed, we'd prep it, and Carrie can grab the others and bring them hence.
Yeah, if you guys wanted to meet back at the wagon, yeah.
I mean, I don't know that we have a way to drag it, but yet.
And since I'm comfortable navigating this part of town on my own, I'm not worried about getting jumped or getting lost.
Yeah.
So Suda and Alina stay behind to kind of clean it up a bit, taking inventory, pulling the weeds from the wheels, stuff like that, kind of getting it ready to move for whenever you get your beast.
Prestidigitation all over. Doesn't forget that she has it.
Clean. Dusting all the stuff and a little dig. But just for the sake of brevity, easy enough. Caradwin returns to the warehouse, reports back to everyone else, and takes them all back to the wagon. So within,
One point of order, I think, Caradwin, upon observing the science experiments that have happened and seeing everyone getting their shit together, they will suggest burning or otherwise disposing of the remaining corpse. This should not be left around for anyone else to discover.
If we're going to try to burn it, I advise that we make sure nobody and nothing else is in the warehouse.
Yeah, I mean, I think we empty the warehouse and commit arson.
I could speak to a bunch of crows, have them eat it.
That might actually be a better idea, but it's so gruesome. I hate it.
I would hate to impose that on any crow that might.
We don't know how this mutation spreads.
Horrifying. I mean,
or if it spreads.
Pure look of horror on Caradwin's face as she imagines crows then being corrupted and flying
around.
No.
Yeah, and then the crows fly to other cities and infect other animals, and then those animals.
Yeah, we're not about to start the plague, guys.
Oh, it would be an epidemic.
I don't know. I think
Arson.
my first thought was arson. I'm worried about the buildings around it if this thing is explosive. But with Caradwin, pointing that out, I'm like, yeah, everybody, I'm gonna be as far away from possible and firebolt this thing from outside the building.
Yeah.
I can try and help keep the fire under control while it burns. It's not gonna be inconspicuous, I'm not gonna lie to you.
But an explosion, though?
I will say, this warehouse is in Rottooth Row, which I have described as being so small and condensed that they've started to build up because they've run out of room. And you guys want to set this thing on fire.
Shoot, I don't have material components to put a lock on this place either. I have an idea. Kuvos, what's your idea?
Well, I was gonna say one of the things that he just took for his new cantrip was shape water. I could very well control a 5-foot cube of water and make sure that after we've burned the creature, it stays to the... So Kuvos would say this out loud as more so, well, I can... If we really want to burn it, and make sure that it doesn't get discovered or spread to anyone, I can stand outside the building and make sure that,
I'm
imagining a 6 sphere of water surrounding with just a hole in it for the firebolt to go in.
If you can contain the fire that well, we might not even need to burn the building, just the corpse.
Yeah. If that's viable.
I can keep the fire fed with air while you contain the fire if you want.
I don't know how Caradwin would know this, but since we have leveled up, I did take Create or Destroy Water as a spell. don't know how they would have figured out that they can now cast spells.
We'll get to Caradwin's spells in a moment.
Let's see if there's an emergency. Maybe that could be how Caradwin finds out she has that spell.
I'm a waterbender. We'll get to Caradwin's spell in a moment.
I think all three of us, Sage, Kuvos, and Olwen working together. Sage igniting the fire, Olwen using Gust, and Kuvos using Shape Water to try and keep it contained.
Yeah, I will. That's shenanigan-y enough. I kind of like that. Where you guys are, you guys are basically just burning the corpse, not the whole building, and you are just with a combination of those. They are feeding the fire, the water keeping it contained. It takes a few minutes, but you do eventually kind of burn it down.
How big of an explosion was it when it first ignited? I'm just curious. Because that was my concern, was it blowing up dramatically?
There are no, explosions that happen. There's not an active poison cloud around it currently. I'll spare you guys that much.
You said currently and we all tilted our heads.
I think by the end.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think by the end of the by the end of the few minutes, because for Kuvos' spell, they like control the water around it. For Sage, they're shooting the fire. Olwen is actively like looking at a hole and blowing into it. So I think by the end of like the few minutes, he's just like a little bit on his knees, going like.
So out of breath. It smells so bad in here. It almost makes you want to pass out.
Yeah, let's go.
Kuvos is gonna walk over and help Olwen up. And before they go, I think he's gonna kind of whisper to Olwen, like, I do want to know what you wanted help with later when we have a moment. And just kind of leave it at that.
Olwen will nod as like he's catching his breath and walking with the group.
All right, wonderful. So with a mild arson contained, you all retreat back to the wagon. The three of you who are in the warehouse get to see the inside of the wagon for the first time. It's beautiful and it's homey. And it's very nice. Just to cover a few things as you guys enter this period of downtime in the evening. Olwen, you are needing to send out that letter. Easy enough to do to find a courier. They're everywhere. I assume, unless you want it secret from the Steel Bones, you can just find one of them and give them a few coins to send it out. So that should be easy enough to do. The Rat's Maze currently is still under lockdown because word has not gotten out of everything secured, essentially. So you are all still technically trapped in there. Your current lead leads you into the upper city where Duke Leto is, which means you'll have to wait until the lockdown is lifted, likely after Olwen sends the message out to his people to get the word out themselves and start fixing the problem. So currently, this is a very long-winded way of saying your work is done for the night. Unless there's any other ideas anyone has, current leads that you have found require the lockdown to be lifted.
Is there anything I can add to my letter to inform my other contact that I have some more information if they're willing to trade for it, if I'm sending this message via the Steel Bones?
Yeah, so you want to send the letter to
Bonnie.
So this is such fuckery, I love it. So you want to send the letter to Bonnie, but you want specifically to include it, because you know the Steel Bones are going to know the contents of the letter. Include something for your Steel Bone contact to get word of in sort of an indirect way.
Yeah, to say like, hey, there's more to this. If you want that information, come find me. I'm willing to trade for it.
This is
something to that.
This is such fuckery. I love it so much. Yeah. I will say, give me a straight intelligence check to kind of code a message into your letter for your Steel Bone contact. So word gets through the Steel Bones.
Ooh, 15.
Yeah,
14
absolutely.
+1.
You are pretty confident in the message you have crafted. So you easily enough, just for a few pieces of silver, are able to track down a courier and send off this letter towards Bonnie Wymond, with the coded message inside to reach your Steelbones contact. And you send off that letter with confidence that it will find its chosen recipients before you return back to the wagon. Any other tasks that we want to do before this night ends?
Does Alina know of any, like, shops or folks who live on this side of the barrier, as it were, who kind of specialize in similar things as Leto? Like, are there any places down here that he might have been frequenting, going for, like, information or stuff while he was here? Or is it everything I know about is kind of north of the line or outside the barrier?
It's super fucked up in the way that Seer's Mourning prides itself on being purveyors of all modern and ancient knowledge, but lock it away for only rich people. There are maybe some bookstores in the area that Caradwin would know about, but that's really about it. The mass bulk of, like, educational materials, it's in the upper city areas. Okay. Anything else from anyone as we conclude our evening? Kuvos.
So I think actually Kuvos, as like the night is winding down, would want to sit down and reach back out to the Magister on the Sending Stone again, if possible. And just send a quick message. Issue has been handled. I'm trying to think of how to put this into 25 words. Some strange creature created some sort of toxin. Clues lead to Understone. Any idea where it's from? And that's exactly 25, I think. Or no, that's 20.
3 more. You have 3 more.
3 more.
I believe.
I'm fine. Is how he would end that.
I'm fine. So cute. Okay. You send that off. And a few moments pass before you get a reply. Kuvos. Leads for what? You haven't told me what the clues are for. What the fuck are you talking about?
Okay, fuck this guy, but also I like this guy.
I
like his attitude.
Oh gosh. The creature I mentioned, it was mutated, had crystals growing out of it. Kids who found it said it came from Leto.
Noted. Fucking Talcast.
This is someone who's intimately familiar with this freak.
I'll go knock some heads together. Sleep. Well, goodbye.
And he won't bother responding because he knows if he tries to respond again. He was going to ask about the Aldmere thing, but knowing that the Magister has essentially signed off, he knows he's not going to get another response. And honestly, his message is probably not going to be listened to.
Yeah.
He'll save it for another time.
He's turned his phone off for the night. He's like, okay, stop fucking texting. He's gone on Do Not Disturb.
Speaking of wizarding mentors, I know Magda can find me if she needs me, but I would love to see if she has heard of any other sort of freak shit mutant stuff other than the ones that I've already been told about from her. So I would love to see if there's an inn that I know we've been staying at for the past couple of weeks that we've been here. If there's a place that like okay, I know when she's done having her fun, she might return to this spot. Would that be a possibility? She's also could just be out partying.
I that's so funny you said that, because I was about to say she's such a wild card. Just the character of Magda. Like I want to give you the opportunity to talk to her, but it's so funny because I'm like, she has absolutely been out partying all night and you do not know where she sleeps because she just
100%. I think if everybody seems like they're sending out their letters, everybody's kind of taken a moment, and we don't necessarily, we know that Carrie has safe houses, but those don't have multiple beds. And I do think that there is some sort of inn that we have been staying at. Sage would know. If Magda is findable, she will be here, and possibly suggest to the others, my mentor and I and a few others of us from the Coven have been staying at a certain inn. We have a standing reservation there until we leave. If anybody doesn't have a place to settle up for the night, you're welcome to come with me. Perhaps you could meet her and ask some questions. She may know. I can't say she'll know because I don't know, and she usually mentions something if there's something interesting like this going on at where we're going, but it'd be worth checking in with her, and it's a nice little place to rest. A little more secure than the Teeth Row, whatever the such. I don't think Sage actually remembered the name of the neighborhoods herself. She's kind of, why is everybody in Valenson so bad at naming things?
I don't know, man.
She still holds a grudge for her hometown being named Beggar's Hole. Like, are you kidding me?
I don't know. Someone real mean names Beggar's Hole.
Yeah, who would ever name these cities all these things?
Not good at naming, I guess.
Who built this world?
I guess someone not good at naming built the city. I don't know.
No, it's hilarious, and I love it, and I love Yuji.
It's great. It's great. It's fine. I'll cry about it later. But yeah, I mean, you do know.
No, it's fantastic. Make Sage be embarrassed. Do it.
You definitely do know of like the inn. I mean, there's not like perfect beds for everyone here in the wagon. I assumed most of you were sleeping in here because some of you can like shack up in like the conversation pit with the pillows. There's the hammock. There's the loft. Like, you can find a way. I assume that's where most of you were staying, but
imagine this is also where our wagons might be parked. Actually,
honestly, probably.
So I can just be like, I've got one over there too.
I've been sleeping like two stalls down. Like,
Kuvos would probably, at the mention of your mentor, especially since you mentioned Ashador before, just sort of perk up a little bit and say, "Well, I thought most of us were staying here, but I would like the opportunity to hear what your mentor was after, if that's all right."
Yeah, I think anybody who wants to, like, I imagine, yes, I have the wagon that I could have slept in, but Sage does enjoy creature comforts on occasion, so maybe being in a city, well, I took the chance to sleep in an inn while I could. I don't want him to split the party and make this harder on you, Yuji, so possibly we just go there, Kuvos and anybody else who would want to sleep in a real bed, and possibly just stay the night if Magda's not there. But
yeah, if you want to go ahead and do that, I will say, just for Kuvos' own curiosity, Magda mentioning going to Ashador, it was less, I'm going to investigate what's going on there. It's more so, hey, there's some weird shit happening over here in the Empire. Let's go look at it for a while.
Okay.
That's the reason why you came to the city in the first place, was, hey, there's something wild happening there.
Let's watch the spectacle of the coronation and the funeral.
It's very loosey-goosey.
That's kind of how Magda's just vibes based.
If Sage makes that clear, then he would be less interested. He's more interested in people like actually actively trying to help the city, as opposed to just like, oh, this tragedy is happening, let's go watch it happen. That makes him angry.
Yeah, I will say It's less because of the tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
It's less because of the tragedy. The vibes are very much Magda knows a lot about lesser known magics, ancient rituals, the weird side of magic that most people are like, there's not enough evidence for us to be looking at this. She's into the weird stuff. And so while she's interested in investigating, it's more out of curiosity rather than out of a desire to help. I think that is the vibe that I'm trying to get across. Not because, like, ooh, people are dying, but more like, this is a fascinating, strange occurrence.
Is this something that Sage tells the party or just
I think so. I think she would be explaining, like, Magna knows a lot about, like, ancient, lesser-known, strange ritual magics and strange creatures that are mostly in legend rather than experiences that other folks have had, so...
I think at the mention of that, Olwen like stands up like a little too quickly and is already like ready to leave.
But yeah, she's probably out partying, so
If there's any chance to talk to who this person is, then I would be grateful to be able to have a conversation with them.
well, at the very least, if we can't find her, I'll be sure that once all of this chaos dies down and she's able to touch base with me, we can keep in contact, and perhaps I'll let you know where to find us.
For the sake of brevity, I'm just gonna roll
Yeah.
a luck check real quick for where in the world is Magda, and see if she's out like at a nightclub or something.
Absolutely, whims of fate should always determine whether we find her. I agree. This is completely...
Honestly, this is hilarious. I have a table. I need to make a table for where the hell
Make
is
a Magda check.
Make a Magda check. All right, let's make a Magda check real quick, guys. So that's really damn low. Yeah.
She left Rat's Maze, and she is outside of it now.
Just to make it not to waste y'all's time searching around and get no answers. Popping over to the inn really quick and poking around, you basically get the answer of, yeah, we saw her once after the funeral. She had a bottle of some really expensive looking liquor in her hand. She drank it all in one go, threw it on the ground, and then disappeared into the crowd. She's so little and she's so old. I don't know how she's alive. I don't know what.
I love her so much. I respect her so deeply.
She's out on the town. They're like, she'll turn up eventually. But yeah.
Oh yeah. And I think that is they're like, so yeah, she's like little and she chugged this alcohol and she disappeared, and so just like, yeah, she'll show up eventually, don't worry about it. Oh, sorry guys.
Oh, so she's having a great night, actually. That's the indicator for having a good night, yeah.
Yeah, my reactions as Rosalie are not Sage's reaction to this. Sage is just like, thank you.
Cool.
This is normal.
But yeah, that's kind of the conclusion that is reached on that low Magda check.
Thank you for humoring me.
Yeah, of course.
Not to prolong things. I apologize. So before it, I assume that everybody is going to eventually start bedding down wherever they're going to be, whether it's at the inn or the wagon, which, quote, Suda is staying at the wagon. It feels isolated enough and, is perfectly suitable. At some point, way after dark, she's going to quietly just slip out. She's not trying to be sneaky, but she's trying to be nonchalant, essentially. And just go stand outside. If there is like a ladder or crates stacked high enough, whatever, to climb up onto the nearest roof.
Easily scale up to the top of the stables.
And just sit there and gaze out. That's what she does probably for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
Before she gets tired.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is actually a very, lovely transition. Thank you for allowing this. One question I will have. In these hours of silent existing, silent contemplation, does the posture change back to what it was? Does the demeanor change?
It will not until the morning. Essentially, after the long rest.
With that in mind, not mincing my words here, the individual sitting on the roof, Naime. It is silent and chilling here in the night. It's strange. Your existence is a strange one. You know you spend most of your time somewhere else. Now that you're here physically, any memories of where you spend your time when you're not here physically are gone. It's strange. You know you were somewhere else. You can't remember where or what was happening. All you remember is that there was a sense of dread, a panic. It's peaceful now, but you know eventually that peace is going to be gone and you're going to be back in whatever place that was. Here and not at the same time. And though there is fear, you know this will help Suda. That gives you maybe a little bit of strength. And your back is sore. And it's heavy and it's itchy. There's something pressing down on your back. It's digging in. And it's holding on to the back of your neck and your spine and your shoulders. And it's heavy. It's weighing you down and it's moving. And it grows heavier and heavier and more prevalent the more aware you are of it as you focus on the feeling. It's horrifying, but the worst part is that it feels familiar. As if it's always been there. But you're just now noticing it. And if you turn your head to try to look, reach behind you, the feeling fades. And it's nothing clinging to you, nothing harming you. It's just you in the calm, empty nights. But it's a little tiring. And it's a little sad, and it's a little scary. Because when the sun rises, as much for the greater good as you can say this is, you know you won't be around to see it. You're going to be back in that dark, peculiar place. But you can hold out a little longer. The rest of the night passes normally for Naime, before eventually fading back into the regular way of things, and Suda returns to the party as normal.
Before, or when she begins to get tired, and she knows that Suda will be very affected by the lack of sleep. Having all of those thoughts and fears and emotions rushing through as she just tries to take in that peace. and savor it and treasure it. She eventually just wipes the unconscious tears off her face and makes her way back to the wagon to finally close her eyes.
Wonderful. The night is filled with many exhausted party members from the events of this previous day. All of you pulled into a deep, comfortable sleep. And in the quiet of the night, the quiet of unconsciousness, Caradwin, there is a sound. It's gentle at first, quiet and calm, but you recognize it. The feeling of blankets and pillows and hard floor beneath you become splintered woods, bobbing gently. And you hear the sound of water lapping against the boat. You open your eyes and look around, and you are face to face with it. Not for the very first time. A giant, unending wall of black smog that stretches on before you for eons. Sitting in an old, splintered rowboat at the end of the world, looking into the void, knowing that something lies beyond it, within it. That much is unclear. You sit there in the quiet, remembering the last time you were here, looking into the smoke that traps you here. And you hear, in the silence, in the peace, an exhale of breath echoing from the fog. There is calmness, there is silence, there is stillness within it. It is tantalizingly close. You feel the urge to lean in, to reach out, to go to it. What do you do?
I reach out. I need to know. I need an answer. I need some kind of clarity. I need to understand why I am here again, why I was here in the first place. I don't think about it in my waking life. And here I can think of nothing else.
You lean forward, the boat kind of rocking a little bit underneath your weight. The water is calm. It's always been calm. You're the only one that disturbs it. And you lean forward, reaching a hand out. Just so close to it. And as you're reaching carefully and calmly, the boat jolts, suddenly pulled to the side. And you look over to the left of the boat and you see a pale hand that has reached up from the water and grabbed the side of your boat. And just as you notice it, a second one right beside it grabs the boat. And you notice that one, a third one right on the other side of you grabs the boat, and another and another and another and another hand grabbing the boat, grabbing your hands, your clothes, pulling it down and down and down, and the waves take you. Cold water is not what you find as you are pulled down into it. Wood, splintered wood. Below you, beside you, above you. That coffin lids that you spent so long beating your hands against now taunts you as it rests just above you again. You almost feel the weight of the soil bearing down on it. The lid bows under the weight of it. buried down in the earth. The panic is so strong in your chest. And you feel the urge to fight, to claw, to punch, to pound, anything to claw your way out of this grave once again. A whisper brings you the tiniest bit of peace in this moment of panic. Child of mourning, thy cold hands and still hearts have left a grave empty too soon. What remains of thee but scraps amidst a ruins battlefield? What awaits thee but the cold earth that once embraced thee? Thy chlorine for life has made shredded meat of thy mind, memory, and of thy being. With new life given, how much of thee is left? The question hangs in the air, awaiting an answer.
I don't know. I don't know.
Thy fate, such as all life, leads to the grave. Dost thou fear it?
No. Not anymore.
Thou hast lived a life void of purpose. But thy purpose has long been set. Thou only need find it. Whom dost thou serve?
Tell me.
Scrambling hands beating against a splintered casket, glorying through soil, wouldst otherwise remain still, if not for mine intervention. So I ask again, whom dost thou serve?
Marok. God of the buried.
Silence hangs in the air as you answer the whisper. You know, last time you were here, you heard nothing. No whispers. No call to service. The first time you were here, the voice did you a favor by getting you out. Now, it's simply coming back for you to return said favor. The darkness of this casket gives way to light as you awake within the wagon. Faint sunlight streaming in through the window, and dirt covering your hands and under your nails. So you all get a long rest. So everyone wakes up, whether in the wagon or if they stayed at the inn, having a very deep night of rest and recuperation. So it's like, oh, such a good night's sleep, nice and stretched out, like, oh, so nice.
Suda stretches out like all lewdly and like, what the? Okay. She's done this enough times that when she ends up in weird places, she's like, you know what? Just gonna go with it.
Yeah, it's fine. This is fine. It's whatever. Olwen, where did you spend the night?
So Owen went with Sage to like the inn where like Magda could have been, right? And I'm assuming like when we didn't find her there, Sage went to go sleep there. Is that right?
There would have been an invitation to like get a cot from the innkeeper or whatever, a rollout mat or something.
Yeah.
No
couch.
expectation to pay for your own room or anything. Sage is polite enough. Possibly, definitely offered a bath. Tried not to make it pointed.
Yeah, sure. Okay. I guess that is where like Owen spent the night then.
Yeah, wonderful.
I think it becomes very clear to Sage that the moment we didn't find Magda there, Owen did like prepare to like leave through like the door, like the window to go sleep outside like he usually does.
Through the window?
There's a door right there, Olwen. No, yeah, amazing. Nothing too insane. It's nice and warm and comfortable within this inn, but when you wake up, there's a layer of frost on your arms and hands that as soon as you are conscious and noticing it rapidly begins to melt in the warm inn, but stayed frozen until you took note. Wonderful. Just to catch us up on the events of the night, you will all awake to the lockdown being lifted. Olwen, you have, since you sent out that Steelbone to send that letter out, you get one back morning of, basically from Bonnie, essentially saying, like, confirmed, this is a big situation, knowing that it is something that directly affected the Sovereign. We will get right on it and begin work immediately. By the time you're receiving this, things should be cleared up. So you sent this letter basically saying, hey, here's a solution to a big problem the Sovereign just suffered. And Bonnie was like, hell yes, get on their good side, and went to work immediately. So here in the morning glow, I say morning glow, it's getting to be winter and days are very short here. So the sun is a little bit risen. It's still pretty dark, as if it were early morning, but it's like 8 a.m. As warm and bright as it can get this time of year in the Empire. You all meet up back at the wagon, or what are we doing? Because the lockdown has been lifted. The city is open to you all.
I'm assuming.
I know many of you had business in the upper city.
I'm assuming the letter said it has nothing on like the information I asked for, which I'm assuming is just going to mean they didn't have anything.
Yeah, it doesn't detail anything further than them taking care of business.
Oh, and sort of like crumples like the paper a little bit before like folding and stashing it back in his bag.
Mm-hmm.
I should swing back by, now that we can get out, Alina comes in. I should swing back by home, at least change clothing to something less worn. And we have horses that can pull a wagon.
I'm realizing
Certainly.
that I forgot to message you about this, which I feel incredibly bad about. You were supposed to have reasons for being in the city, and like Olwen's reason is, as always, to like look for information on the thing he's looking for. And I'm assuming, seeing that it wasn't at the Rat's Maze, is there any place in the upper city that could possibly have that information? And could he get that, whether through legal or illegal means?
Yeah, we have a lot of business in the upper city, so we'll go through it kind of one at a time for everyone, because there's some individual, but also some party interests. First things first, as the morning breaks, you all kind of meet back, I'm assuming at the wagon, yes?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so you all meet back. Alina, you actually receive a letter about half an hour or so into the morning after you wake. You see it is stamped with the seal of House Shroudmore.
From the dame.
Yep.
I'll go ahead and open that. Getting some distance, just, privacy,
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I just take it and I don't even call out what it is. I'm just like, oh, thank you, and tip the person who delivers it and open it up.
Yeah, it is delivered by one of Dentor's lowborn. They were the ones who kind of squirreled their way through the lockdown. But one of
Gotta love
Dentor's
'em.
lowborn delivers it for you. So you receive the letter stamped with House Shroudmore. You know very well who this is from. And it so reads, Lady Monson, 'tis good to hear you are well. News out of the lower city is troublesome, no? Though it seems you have found yourself new allies. 'Twas not expecting such a courier at my door carrying your missive. The city has been quite lively as of late. Not only the streets, but all the darkened corners of the estates, and the reverent lips of the courtiers. Rumour and gossip all about makes for great fanfare. I wouldn't miss it for anything. My favourite includes the ones of coming war. A rather popular one as of late. All manner of persons here in Shroudmore hold their breath, watching to see the moves of our new grand sovereign. Shall they take after their father? Rule the empire and oppose the conclave with none but a heavy hand and glaring eyes? The late sovereign Endelian did not wish for open war with the conclave, as in his eyes such an action would be treating the conclave as equal foes. 'Tis a fact I'm sure you're well aware of. The late Endelian would sooner leap from his tower than view others as anything other than beneath him. But I shan't waste your time with idle gossip. Luck have us, we are yet living, and he, well, is not. Alas, I rant on as if ink falls from the skies and time stops at my command. Come sit a spell with me once the lower city has opened. Bring your new allies, should you feel so inclined. There are some matters to discuss, some aid to be given. 'Tis a new, exciting, and dangerous world, my lady. There will be much opportunity for us in the coming days. Let us seize forth with caution and wit, lest we fall in our haste. Tread valiantly, Dame Circe of House Shroudmore.
Alina reads it and has a little smile on her face as she's reading through it and just hearing the voice of her friend as it comes out in the text, because it's just so clear.
It's so clear.
And she just kind of nods and tucks it into her clothing and said, well, there's another errand to run. Or tells everyone, we should also stop by Dame Circe's. She'd like to meet you all. And she says Dame Circe like she expects everyone to know exactly who she's talking about, by the by. Like,
I have no idea who that is, but I can imagine nothing more awful than that, so I don't think I will be doing that.
I feel like I would have an idea, yeah? I feel like I would have an idea.
I mean, the name strikes it has enough familiarity that you know it's someone of House Shroudmore.
I would know of what the title implies, and I would know of
her house and what her title implies. That's about it.
We have business with her. Really?
Would Caradwin know her or know of her? Would we have had any reason to interact prior to this?
I think you know of her. I don't think you've interacted before. She is like a valiant knight of House Shroudmore, essentially. But is as charismatic and extroverted as she is, nobody seems to know shit about her. You've always suspected that bitch is up to something.
Oh, I mean, I assume everyone with rank is up to something.
Oh yeah, of course. Like it's kind of like your view of any like noble person. You're like, there's something going on there.
Yeah, they want something from me or from someone else that they don't want to do themselves. That's just kind of how it works.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming Kuvos would know who that is and know to stay far away from anyone with Shroudmore allegiances.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think you know of Dame Circe. You are not very caught up on a lot of Shroudmore persons. But the mention of Shroudmore is instant hesitation just because everything you were taught.
Mm-hmm. And I think Kuvos up to that point has probably been like in preparation of the morning, like feeding Kari, kind of sitting with the little turtle. And at that point would kind of look at Alina and just, I honestly don't know if that's the best idea.
We can get you new robes. It's fine.
I mean, I have my own business in the upper city. But for once, I agree with Olwen. I really can't see a worse way to spend.
If he just wants to stick to his errands that his magistrate sent him on, that's fine.
That's fine. I do have to say that Dame Cersei lays a beautiful table. Oh my goodness. The sweets. And she has this thing that she does with candied nuts and herbs and spices that taste like everything, but on a pecan.
I like
It's
how
like an
I'm trying
everything
to appeal
bagel
to
in a
this.
pecan.
I'm trying to appeal to the rebellious teenager, and you're like, but sweets.
She has so much food.
And
Just an excellent tea. She lays an
There's
excellent
kind of a-
tea.
like a look on Kuvos's face. Like, this is a kid who grew up with almost nothing. And he's intrigued by what Alina's describing, but at the same time, he knows what he's heard about the Empire, and none of it's been good. And so he's still, with that sort of tense air, says, if this is a part of our errands to figure out what was going on with this creature, then perhaps, but I will absolutely need new robes.
Well, I would like to stop by Zara's to check in, and I probably have extra belongings, changes of clothes, etc. stashed there that I would like to collect for myself. Yesterday was a lot of activity. I'm almost certainly have bloodstains on my clothes, but I wear black for a reason. But I'm feeling very dirty. I would really really like clean clothes. And then I think I will go with Alina. It's been some time since I have graced the halls of anyone of House Shroudmore, and it will be interesting to return.
We'll stop by Lindaris first. I need to change my clothes as well.
Last little tidbit before everyone splits off to attend to their various errands. We'll get to who's going where. Just getting ready. Caradwin reaching into a pocket or a bag, just for your normal day-to-day getting things ready. You feel your fingers brush against a string of beads that weren't there before. I will sort of run them through my fingers, not pulling them out of whatever pocket or pouch they are in. Run them through my fingers, almost like a fidget. Not with my full consciousness. Could I do some kind of I don't want to look at them yet. I am not emotionally prepared to look at them. Can I do some sort of like insider perception to like know what I'm holding? Yeah, it's no roll required, just to run your fingers along the length of it. It's a long loop of beads. What you would have to guess is a very long, like beaded necklace almost, that comes together at the bottom, and then a single string of beads descends from the long loop, like a rosary. At the end is a metal disc, like plate, about like golf ball size, not very big. You don't feel any engravings on it. It's just cool, smooth metal. Okay, that gets tucked away in the back of the brain to deal with later. Yeah, but that rests in your pockets. All right. So with the city sprawling before us, and ready to complete various errands. We have visiting Duke Leto to investigate the Firestarter, or the mutant rodents, stopping by the Dame of Thorns, aka Dame Circe of House Shroudmore, who's requested Alina's audience to discuss something peculiar. We have Kuvos on his own mission for the Conclave. We have Magda running around somewhere causing trouble. We have Olwen investigating his own mysterious happenings, Caradwin's strange dreams and presence of a new item in her pocket, and Sage chasing down all of these clues like a hound
All
dog.
of it. Just all of it. 100%. All of it.
But the city is open to you. You have new transportation. You're a little bit tougher than you were yesterday, and many, many questions are to be answered. And that, my friends, is where we're going to end it for today. I'm so excited for this next bout of adventures. This is for players and audience alike to know, as we officially begin our adventure into Act 1 of the Magnificence campaign.
The training wheels are coming off.
We made it out of the
You guys
made it out of the
completed
tutorial.
Nobody died!
Yay!
We
Sort of almost did.
Guys, we have a cleric now and nobody
Kind of
died.
close. Kind of close.
I mean, I do have a healing hands, like the touch one. I do have a little bit of healing, but
Yeah.
We're gonna be a lot more better off now. Anyway, bye!
Yeah. You guys did it! Hooray! Well, thank you everyone for joining in. I'm excited for the next session. Please have a wonderful day. Everyone take care of yourselves, and absolutely join us in next time as we begin the journey into the upper city. Bye-bye!
Bye-bye!
Bye-bye now. Bye-bye.